This Pac-12 Part 2 Conference Preview and Carson Steele interview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Circa Sports. They're back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million up for grabs. Get all the details over at circasports.com.
What's up, guys? This is Carson Steele. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Pac-12 football. We're reasonable. We're educated.
Yeah.
We go to class and we compete on the field.
We are true student athletes.
We are true student athletes.
I do believe they won the most championships out of anyone in
Conference of Championships or Conference of Champions. UCLA, of course, touts the School of Champions, School of Olympians, a lot of things.
And then again, Wisconsin's water polo team, not necessarily a known commodity.
Wow. Hey, you making a Big Ten comment here?
We're joined, of course, by Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase, aka Pick Dundee from the College Football Experience.
That's a good point, Colby. This is not the Big Ten West preview. This is the Pac-12 Part 2 preview.
Should we talk about San Diego State now or 2 days from now?
Yes, we are
time machine going on here.
Yeah, we are. These college football previews are pre-taped. I'm down in Central America, going on some adventures.
Me too, aka Florida.
Yes,
same thing.
A similar vibe. So if there is some sort of breaking news, San Diego State joining the Pac-12,
Colby will put out an emergency episode on the College Football Experience if that happens.
We are talking the upper half of the Part 2 Pac-12 teams. It's crazy.
Which, by the way, San Diego State immediately jumps into the upper half of the Pac-12.
You think so?
I think 13 straight bowl games or being 2020.
I mean, as much as we love to clown Brady Hoke, but they have quietly just all they've done win football.
Well, that was just Rocky Long was most of that.
I'm just saying that the Pac-12, a super strong conference this year, especially top heavy. I mean, the first team we're going to talk about in the second half, Oregon State, their win total's 8.5. Yeah, like it's just crazy.
You know what I love though about the potential of San Diego State coming in? UCLA plays at San Diego State this year at the Snapper, and
careful,
Snapper.
You look, made from the best stuff on earth down there, and they gotta go. You could make the argument because San Diego State beat them in Pasadena 2 years ago. So if they complete the sweep on this home and home, then you can make the argument that what was UCLA? You're kind of upgrading in that capacity. You're still losing USC, but
I mean, you had
upgrading on the UCLA side of it.
Can't be the Pacific 12. Although maybe we rebrand to not have a number, so we're not tied into that number 12. But if you're a Pacific Coast Conference, you have to be represented in Southern California. Yeah. How can you not?
Yeah.
So they're kind of.
We should try and go to this game. Snapdragon Stadium,
the Snapper. Yeah. Gotta get over there. Brand new stadium. There's a lot of money coming into San Diego State. Obviously, just the national championship run in college basketball.
That helps.
Certainly helps. The baseball team's pretty good as well. You add all three of those sports that are potential revenue sports, and look, you might wake up a sleeping giant because we've said this forever. Whether it's Ricky Williams, whether it's Alex Smith,
keep him at home.
Whether it's Ronnie Lott, Junior Seau, all San Diego. You know what I mean? Like San Diego is a very underrated talent bed, and if you open up that door, San Diego State could really
play sports all four.
Their academics are lower.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
look, come on, Justin Decker's an alumni.
So it's strange. I don't think it's like on one hand is UCLA and USC leaving for the Big Ten really going to affect their ability to keep guys at home that they want to keep at home. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's get to actual teams in the actual conference.
To Sean's concluding point, 8.5. Oregon State, the first team we're going to talk about, and 9.5 is the top of the bar. So big cluster here. A lot of teams with talent, which means a lot of tough schedules. We're going to see Oregon State, the Beavers, our Beavers.
Oh, Ryan, I got to do the read.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I completely
screwed it up.
Of course, shout out to circasports.com. They are back with their Circa Millions and Circa Survivor contests. I mean, you want to talk about San Diego, Circuit Sports. I think they have a deal with the Padres. You can see their name all over the place. Again, $14 million guaranteed in prizes. 5 NFL picks against the spread each week for the Circa Millions. Circa Survivor, again, just pick one winner. Survive. Enter in Vegas, play from anywhere. Perfect excuse to go out to Las Vegas. We are going to be there hanging out at the Circuit Las Vegas last weekend in August. Get you guys signed up for the contest. Again, tons of fun. Hang out, say what's up to Derek. Go to circusports.com for all the details. Circusports.com. Joining us on the line, running back for the UCLA Bruins, Mr. Carson Steele. What's happening, Carson? Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, we're excited. We were just talking about it before we started the interview, but you got under our radar Tuesday nights, MACTION.
Yes.
We were just going back and forth like, who's this dude with the flowing locks just rolling over everyone left and right? Like we instantly became Ball State fans just because of your running style. Walk us through the past couple of years here as you burst onto the scene as a MACTION superstar.
Yeah, MACTION was definitely my claim to fame for sure. But coming out of high school with COVID and stuff like that, I signed to Ball State, a great school, and it was only like my big offer coming out of high school, and just kind of put my head down, went to work, and kind of grinded out those last couple of years, and especially like you guys were saying, MACTION with the TV time, stuff like that, having the long blonde hair, those Tuesday, Thursday night games, that's kind of, that really helped me kind of, show my name and get me going. So.
Well, and we've always had a long-standing theory that when you have hair that flows out of your helmet, it enhances your physical ability.
You look elusive.
Hey,
you look elusive.
Right. Yeah, definitely when the hair flows out, you get a little bit to it. So
it's that trail.
And I think if they're not familiar with your game, you think like, oh, big physical dude, which you are, but also 96 missed forced tackles, only second in the country last year to Bijan Robinson. Explain people like what's your if you had to like kind of give a scouting report on yourself as a running back, how would you profile yourself?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people, I just kind of think of me as like a fullback kind of thing, just kind of bully my way straight through vertical. But, I've tried to, that was kind of my thing going from my freshman to sophomore year, is trying to be able to have that more, linear vertical kind of, jump cut back to back and forth, stuff like that. So that kind of helped me this year as well, training for that. But, yeah, I would definitely say, first of all, I'm for sure downhill runner. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
And, being vertical, but, being able to make the first, second guy miss, that's kind of like my big thing I've been working on too throughout these years.
Well, I think it works pretty good. I'm looking at the log from last year.
Man.
First off, we might need to call our friend Jim Mora Jr. that UConn's head coach. He's been on the show, and you definitely lit him up.
Gave him a headache there.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, 179 yards, and you did this like 5 or 6 times last season.
You want to get Colby excited?
Yes.
Get 23 carries in a game. He's good to go.
I see 29. I see 32. This, football's back, baby. Get him.
Oh, yeah.
And Chip Kelly, I'm sure he must have been tuning in on some Tuesdays, and he's like, what do we got here in Muncie, Indiana? How's it been? How did that work out into fruition? Like, how did did Chip hit you up and say, hey man, what's going on? How did it work out for you to come to Westwood?
Definitely, I kind of tell people portals, the portal's a good thing for people and it's a bad thing for people. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get picked up, and then it works for good. Like in my situation, I entered in, it wasn't my first choice because I loved Ball State, loved everybody there, coaching staff. But, I knew it was kind of like the best thing for me. But I entered in, and I'm trying to remember. I couldn't tell you when. It was like 7 a.m., like Eastern time in Indiana. So I don't know what time he was calling me at here. But
I got to call him now, see if he's up lifting. Hey, what are you doing? You better be running or lifting. What are you doing, Carson?
as soon as that portal opened up, he shot on a phone call, and Chip Kelly, being the coach he is, just being able to talk to a guy and listen to him talk about just the game of football, it was a no-brainer. And he ended up, I'm telling you, probably within 24 hours, he was in Muncie, Indiana, coming to talk to me.
Wow.
So, yeah,
That's
it was awesome within that portal date. So being able to talk to him, we talked for probably 2 or 3 hours just about the football, what UCLA had and kind of what, their whole situation was. They had their big guy leaving this year, Zach, great running back as well. And we had a lot of similarities, bigger dudes, more vertical runners. So just the way he was explaining stuff as well, I just had no choice but to come here. So
did he mention at all they're in the Big Ten not this year, next year, and you'll be back in Indiana perhaps against the Hoosiers? Did that come up at all?
Oh, Carson's going to be in the NFL.
It came up a little bit here and there, but it kind of wasn't like a real big thing yet because they weren't for sure about everything. But as soon as it hit, paper, that was a big thing for me as well too. You get to come back your senior year playing, the state you grew up in, especially against IU as well too. So, I'm very excited for that.
Well, it begs the question: what do you receive? You Mr. Football in Indiana. What are they? Is it a sash? Is it a crown?
Well, I think you received some stuff we probably couldn't bring up on the show, but what do you?
Up on the show. No.
What do you get that we could talk about as Mr. Football in Indiana?
You guys are going to see me driving up brand new cars.
Love it.
Honestly, it just depended, with NIL and stuff now, it's kind of crazy what people are getting. But personally for me, I just stick to football first, because I feel once you kind of get down that path of, trying to be all NIL first, you kind of get your head off the mind of what you're really coming here for, but being out in LA, it's the number one spot for, like public stuff, so being able to be out here and like I was saying, long hair, stuff like that. It kind of fits the whole vibe. Walking around campus, everybody.
Hey, just movie career afterwards.
Carson,
that's what I'm saying. If football doesn't work out, movies are probably coming.
Just buy a surfboard. You don't even have to learn. Just have the surfboard. People, you'll be getting some endorsements.
This is what you do. You get the surfboard. You get a good beach cruiser, and you just cruise down the beach. It will work out for you. Trust me. You never have to get in the water.
But speaking of getting in the water, I know a transition you had to make moving from Indiana out here to LA to play for the Bruins. You do have a pet alligator named Crocky J that you weren't able to bring out, but tell us about Crocky J. I feel like we got to learn about the alligator.
This is kind of the fan favorite.
Yeah.
I got him when I was a kid. If you know me growing up as a kid, you would realize, hey, an alligator isn't so bad for a pet as this kid. I was always kind of off the wall with everything. And trying to remember, I was like second, third grade maybe. It was Christmas. And no, I'm sorry. It was the day before Christmas Eve. And, we had family over at my Nana's house. This is kind of what we did every year. And the UPS man's knocking on the door. It's all cold outside. And it says live reptile on top of the package. And I asked for like a animal that year. I don't know. I was thinking maybe turtle, lizard, something like that. Something in the ordinary.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, like, do you mind if I stay in here and kind of watch you guys open this? I've had to put it in like an incubation box for like 2 weeks. And my mom was like all freaked out. So was my Nana. And you could kind of see my dad in the background, and his coworker. They were kind of giggling and laughing. So you could already tell something was coming up. And so I opened the box, and it was a burlap sack. And it was all moving around and stuff. And I was like, oh, man, I got the lizard I wanted. And you couldn't even see it at first. He opened the package or the burlap sack, and it shot down the hallway real fast. No. And it had like a tail and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I've never seen a lizard that color before. And I really got a look, and it was a little baby gator. He was probably like 10 inches.
So now,
it was crazy. Nana probably about fell over when she saw it. So.
Yeah. I'm sure your mom wasn't thrilled that Dad. Dad pulled the trigger on the alligator gift.
Who's taking care of it now?
Dad definitely pulled the trigger. So it was kind of crazy.
So now, it must be. I know when I went away to college, came back, my parents turned my room into an office. Sounds like your room is now just like a gator hangout, right? Like,
basically.
What do you do with the gator?
He's in a big tank now, so we're switching him around right now because he's actually getting a little bigger for his tank. So they're switching around trying to figure out stuff now. He's getting pretty big now. He's probably around 3 or 4 feet. So
oh wow,
it's funny. It's funny because earlier in the office we were talking about Mike Tyson owning a tiger and how expensive that was to keep up the eating.
And how he slept with this.
Yeah. So what is that? I'm just curious because you got to feed an alligator. What does that cost?
It's kind of crazy. Personally, I would let my dad kind of handle that at first growing up, but it was kind of all over. When we were younger, we used to go to a pet store close by and give him like goldfish and stuff, or like feeder fish, what they had there. But you end up getting actually real sick from it. And it was the funniest thing. We had to take him to a pet doctor, down the road in Indiana, of course. And
they probably don't get a lot of gator.
We were like, do you guys treat alligators? And they looked at us like we were idiots. It was hilarious. But they took him in, helped him out, got him on antibiotics and stuff. So luckily, he got better after that. And then we started feeding him. He'll get like different, like various kinds of stuff, like meat every once in a while. But then he'll also get, it's called gator chow. It almost looks like dog food. I'm pretty sure it is dog food, but it fits the part. So it's this nutritious part of it. And,
that would have been
the other side of that.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate NIL deal if you ended up in Florida.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, how did Florida miss out on this opportunity? Bring in Carson Steele. You got an endorsement deal for Crocky J.
No, I got a big
some gator food.
I got an offer because I'm finishing up a pool in the backyard. So if Crocky J wanted to come visit,
come
hang out in the pool, get some sun.
I was gonna say
we can put a fence down the middle. Take the right side. We'll be good to go.
You can swim on the other side of that fence, Kramer.
I respect predators. I respect.
No, but this is what you got, man. Crocodile Dundee, the remake.
That's
you right there. That's you right there.
Carson Dundee takes over LA.
Carson and Crocky J.
I'm gonna have to start making movies or something. Oh.
There we go. I want to go back to something Ryan said earlier. You were Mr. Indiana in football.
Mr. Football,
right? Mr. Football in Indiana, and so you said Ball State only offered. So Indiana and Purdue did not offer.
Yeah. So coming out of my junior year, I ended up tearing my hamstring. My junior year was a real bad year for me. But like I say all the time, God's plan, so I'm here now. I kind of figured it out. It was hard for me at first. I was kind of upset at everybody, but getting into the story, right before my junior year, I was feeling good running for track and stuff. And I was just doing too much, and I ended up popping my hamstring. And, I was trying to get back to it, trying not. I was at the All-American Bowl, or the combine, trying out for the All-American Bowl, and popped it again. And so I had to wait until, I would say, week 4 of the season, of my junior season, and I still wasn't feeling right, wasn't running well. And then I waited till week 8, was homecoming week, and I was feeling really good, getting back into things. And if me and my dad, we love to train extra, always do, that stuff like that. And, if you see my living room, we have real tall ceilings, and this the craziest fluke of a thing. Me and him were tossing a ball back and forth and getting ready for the game just because I haven't caught or anything or done anything for a little while. And I would say we were probably only 10 yards apart. And he threw a ball kind of high to my left side, and I went to go kind of jump for it. And when I did, we have wooden floors, and I had they have switch plates on the floors where, you plug in and stuff, and it has a wooden part. And I kid you not, I stepped right on it and broke my metatarsal in my left foot. And I was out. Yeah, I was out for the rest of the year, besides the last 3 games, because we ended up going to the state championship. But unfortunately, we ended up losing. I was 230 pounds. I hadn't ran all year. I came back for the last 3 games, which I shouldn't have at all. And I had a plastic wrap on my foot, just trying to be able to come back out there. But I was way out of shape and stuff. So that kind of led me to not getting recruited my junior year real heavy. And then my senior year was COVID year. So
I'm not going to blame the injuries. I'm going to blame their scouting department.
Yeah,
and now that UCLA is going to be able to go there, I think revenge is on the mind in a couple years here, right?
All I hear is that we're never rooting for Purdue or I'm completely out on them.
You mentioned training with your dad. I was reading about kind of the workout and weightlifting. You guys walk us. Well, first off, when did you start lifting weights? Because I read something. I want to know if it's crazy.
It was young. It was real young.
Because they said before kindergarten, which seems like
I was doing push-ups, running, all that type of stuff.
Awesome.
Nice.
I couldn't tell you how many like screaming matches me and my dad had at night after dinner. But being a 7-year-old kid trying to lift weights,
yeah,
it really was.
Oh, your dad sounds awesome. He's just getting you jacked up, giving you alligators, playing ball with you. Like,
the time you didn't know as a kid, you're always like, man, why is he trying to push me into all this? I just want to, I don't know, go play outside, do something, But as I grew older, I kind of realized what he was doing for me. And, so once I got a little older, I was, excited to come run with him, come work out with him, stuff like that. And my mom always came down there too. My mom's a trooper. She's only like 90 pounds, but she could beat up probably half my friends when she was working
you
out
guys
stuff
do
like that. I think she still could take some of them. So
Thanksgiving at the Steele household is the Oklahoma drill.
No, it really is. Yeah, it really is.
Now, how do you like going from Muncie, Indiana to Los Angeles? I can only imagine the culture shock there.
Yeah.
How do you like LA and Westwood? We're not far from the Rose Bowl. I know we were talking, and we still want we got to have you stop by the office at some point. But how do you like LA, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to come out. That'd be awesome. But I'm loving it for sure. Just coming out here and seeing all the types of stuff like I had just never seen before. And, people ask me, they're like, oh, where are you from around here? I'm actually from Indiana, but they see the long blonde hair and they think I'm around here.
They're asking directions.
But it's the craziest thing because, you'll see like a celebrity walking down the street or something. People won't bat an eye or anything like that. But then like one morning I saw like a group of like 10 or 15 people like taking pictures of something. And I was like, oh man, it's probably a celebrity or something. And I look over and it's a raccoon and they're like, we never seen raccoons in Los Angeles. And so I was cracking up. I was like, oh, we see them every other day.
You are natural. You're not starstruck talking to Colby here on the podcast.
I will say, Carson, one way to really fit in Los Angeles is to throw a dog leash on an animal that's not a dog. So if you ever do get
Crocky J, take it for a walk.
I need to walk Crocky J down the road.
I used to live over towards West Hollywood, and there was someone who had a pig, and they walked that pig every day, completely normal. So I think the gator,
gator would fit right.
That would
in.
be pretty rad, actually.
So you're here, you're in LA, you're playing at UCLA, running back. Mm-hmm. Do you have some goals for the season? Both you as a running back for the team, like what's the big goal for this season?
Definitely, I've kind of haven't really like pushed to make goals so far yet, just because I'm trying to learn all the plays, get everything new, stuff like that. But I just want to be there for this team. Definitely win as many games as possible as we can, and with all these big dudes leaving, going pro and stuff like that, everybody's kind of sleeping on UCLA a lot, and I just want to kind of prove them wrong and show them. And I also want to show them that, being able to go from MAC, to the Pac-12 as well. A lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of like, Twitter feeds, stuff like that, saying that I'm not going to be able to transition well. So hopefully, God's plan just plays out, the role that it needs to be, everything goes from there.
Yeah, you and Crocky J got to pay them a visit.
Well, I was going to say,
that's what I'm saying.
It's a great buddy cop movie we're putting together.
Listen, the hair is going to play in Los Angeles. Don't worry, it's going to work.
Yeah, we're going to be going to some games. Maybe we'll get some like long wigs to rock for our boy Carson Steele.
Last question.
In Muncie last year, they were blowing up alligators. Alligators.
It's a great idea.
I like that.
It was awesome.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just I have to ask because the spelling of your last name is, I think, a little unique with the E at the end. Are you aware of Lexington, and is he a relative?
What's that?
Are you aware of Lexington Steele?
I'm not.
It's one of Colby's favorite actors. If you look him up, go incognito mode on your browser.
Yeah, he's known. He's also known for having a reptile that he keeps in his pants. So anyway.
Hey, Carson,
had to ask.
This was a ton of fun. Obviously, wishing you and the Bruins a ton of luck. Give them a follow on Twitter, and best of luck to the UCLA Bruins. Appreciate the time, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, Kramer. Oregon State 8.5 wins. What are we doing here?
Well, we're heading to Corvallis. The Beavers 130 to the over here at 8.5. That's why they were going first, because they got the biggest plus price on the over. Minus 160 to the under. 11 to 1 to win the Pac-12. 25 to 1 to make the college football playoff. That's an interesting price. 200 to 1 to win the national championship. Obviously, like, these prices have all come down. I wish we had been tracking them through the off season, but when we first discussed the DJU transfer, it was like, you know, anytime a 5-star shows up to a new place when that 5-star has been complete shit, it gets you interested. But now we hear he might not even be the starter out in Oregon State. So
Colby,
I don't think that's a shot at DJU. I think it's this freshman, Aiden Childs, who's just supposed to be a stud. So they have a good situation going from I actually think.
What about the guy who started last year, Cole Branson? Is he completely
the lawn chair, the king lawn chair? Look, this guy is the reason they didn't go undefeated last year. If you go back and look, they lost to USC 17-14 in a game they were up the entire game. He throws a critical interception.
Washington, they lost by 3 points too.
Yeah, and the Utah game, I know you see that 42-16 score. Oregon State actually severely outgained Utah, but there was 2 pick sixes on the first 2 possessions of the game, and then a third interception, I think, on the third possession that didn't go for 6. So basically, Utah got up 21-0 in the first 3 minutes of that game. You could make an argument they were a quarterback away from being a very, very good team.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
As far as gambling too, they're always a fun team at home in Corvallis. 14-5 straight up last few seasons in Corvallis. I finally got a hold of my Phil Steele magazine, and he pointed out the Oregon State was on his stock market index going down. They minus 4.8, minus 6 is really bad. But they're up there as far as a team that could actually regress down. I was surprised.
Well, their best defensive player did get plucked away by LSU, but that defense was really good.
Pass rush still should be pretty good. They are bringing back 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen. They always seem to put in good tight ends into the league. 3 NFL players under head coach Jonathan Smith so far.
Let's talk about him because he was Boise's OC back in the day. First off, he played at Oregon State. Boise's OC during their success, their best years, I would say. Then he follows Peterson to Washington. They go to the playoffs. The minute he left Washington for Oregon State job, Washington started to look pretty bad. I think this guy's one of the most underrated coaches in America. And look, you give him a quarterback, which obviously he played quarterback. I think this team is actually. I know Steele's our guy, but I would actually disagree and think the team would be way better because the defense is against Oregon. Against Oregon, they caught 19 straight runs because they knew they couldn't pass the ball, and Oregon couldn't stop them, which is even more hilarious. This is a power team. They're not like when you play USC.
They're pretty physical.
Yeah, when you play USC,
which is a tough matchup for a lot of these Pac-12 teams that kind of lean more finesse. Again, Corvallis always a tough place to play, and well. And
you got to remember, last season they were doing those renovations on one side. This year it's ready to go. It's super close to the field. I think it's the closest to the field in all of college football now. So I love the home field advantage. And then, like
closer
I said,
than Oklahoma State
now, starting this year.
Oh wow, that's insane because that Oklahoma State situation is wild.
Yeah, man. So
they won their bowl game, which is always a nice thing to look at when a coach is getting his program together, getting that off-season momentum. Right, first it's about getting to the bowl, getting the extra practices. Loses the first bowl game 2021, wins last year. Sean, actually born in Pasadena, California, Jonathan Smith.
Oh,
and
nice.
Fun fact, he went to college before they started giving the rushing yards to the team. Career negative 458 rushing yards for Jonathan Smith in college at Oregon State as a quarterback. Well, now negative
sack yards. Yeah. That's crazy.
But pretty hilarious.
He beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl when they had Chad Johnson and Hushmanzada. They whooped Notre Dame's ass. It was like 45-7 or something crazy.
I want to be high on Oregon State. I guess what I'm concerned at is the question at the quarterback position. Also, they led the Pac-12 in defense last year, but they lost 2 of their top cornerbacks.
But you know what's fantastic about it is their road schedule.
Let's talk about the schedule because
and the plus 130 is tempting.
They catch 3 of the 4 other juggernauts in Utah, Washington, and Oregon. But to Colby's point, this schedule, a lot of these road games are against the bottom half of the conference and are very winnable. So to start at San Jose State, which
and Sparty gets a week 0 game.
So
Sparty, they're solid, man. They're a bold team, so watch out. Yeah.
We like in general, the Spartans are in a spot that we're probably going to want to bet on as a nice juicy home dog here. But winnable game for Oregon State. Obviously, if they're going to be good. UC Davis, another FCS squad.
Good FCS squad. Dan Hawkins, the coach. It's the Big 12. You remember him?
Yeah,
St. Intramurals. Go play intramurals, brother.
San Diego State. Speaking of which, welcoming the future conference foe in week 3, week 4 at Washington State. 5 Utah at home, at Cal, and then UCLA at home. We know that Oregon State, the trip up there, it's one of the weird road trips in the Pac-12. It's always a tough spot. Sean, you alluded to it earlier. I'm already licking my chops as Oregon State going to be a nice dog against Utah there.
Yeah. Oh, Utah especially I mean, on a Friday night,
they're going to be.
See, Sean's getting into the Oregon State Beavers already.
We've already covered that on the. I think the only thing is it seems a little chalky now because I think me, Nick, Patty C all said, dude, Utah's going to lose that Friday.
Utah's not the same team on the road.
That's and
even UCLA, I think they got a shot.
Utah, real quick, that Utah game already has a time. It is 9 p.m. Eastern, so 6 p.m. local.
But you know what's going to happen? They're going to beat Utah and then lose to Cal the next week because they're going to be so high after being a top 10 win.
That would be classic.
So I think there's. I mean, they could be 7-0 in this stretch, but also knowing Oregon State. Again, still some questions at quarterback, especially if they're starting a true freshman. Or
I'm hearing
or Big Cinco. I just was not sold.
I think he's a redshirt freshman, but I'm hearing that like this guy's really good.
I
still like first time starting. You could see where he could blow some games.
Since I'm tight now with Isaiah Hodgins, former Beaver, and now current New York Football Giant, I'm deep into the program. I don't think Big Cinco's starting.
Well, it's still great to have that depth.
No, but I'm just saying. I think I think we could have a Belldozer situation. Here.
So
goal line quarterback.
I think they could be 7-0, but also there's some games here. I mean, even at San Jose State, week 1, I guess you're not looking past them to UC Davis, but San Jose State has a week 0 game, and then you're starting your season on the road.
Yeah,
you could you could be tripped up there. You could be tripped up at Wazoo. You could lose the UCLA. To Colby's point, if you beat Utah, you could have a letdown game at Cal.
But I think their roster's better than every single one's except Utah. But they get Utah and Corvallis.
San Jose State opens 31-point dog against USC on the road. That in week 0. Week 1, then they take on Oregon State. I'm assuming we'll be betting San Jose State plus 17 in this spot.
That's tempting. At 17. At 17
yeah,
point
I think
home
it is
dog.
Tempting. I mean, Chevion Cordero's back at QB.
Gotta see him play.
Yeah.
But
so I'm going to say 5-2 probably for
5-2?
7.
Sure.
I'm gonna go 6-1, if not 7-0.
It's possible.
Like I actually, like I said, I think their roster is better than everyone's except Utah.
All right, I like it. Sean's trying to be pessimistic.
Give me 6-1.
I'll go 5.5. Split the difference. At Arizona, coming out of the bye, so they do have a back-to-back here, but it's not the worst back-to-back. At Arizona, at Colorado. Again, Colorado. We might know Colorado to be frauds at this point. Stanford,
you gotta love
speak
that
for yourself.
Stretch right here.
That's a 3-game stretch against some of the weakest teams, and then you come out of it, and it's a real gauntlet where you have Washington and at Oregon in the Civil War. Do they still call it that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's truly a civil war because Ocho Cinco, not Ocho Cinco. What's the QB's name?
What are you talking about?
The Clemson transfer.
DJ Cinco. Big Cinco.
Big Cinco's brother plays for Oregon. So we got a civil war, a real civil war.
Maybe they'll start Big Cinco just to if I'm getting them to 9-3, I got to have them going 4-1 in this stretch. Oh, which is possible. Certainly.
Yeah. I mean,
and 6-1, I think honestly now looking at it, 6-1 in the first 7, 3-2 in the back half. This feels like a 9-3 team, especially if you're getting plus 130 on the over.
I like the over a lot, man. I think they could. See, Washington and Oregon are not as physical. Like when Oregon was under Cristobal, they were a lot more physical.
The home schedule. I'm going to buy into Colby's scouting of the redshirt freshman quarterback.
Well, if not, you have Ocho Cinco, or not Ocho Cinco, but God damn it, what the fuck is what is his real name?
Big Sing.
No,
DJU.
Yes.
Big Cinco.
Ukulele.
He's so mad. They do have 6 road games. That is abnormal for a Power 5.
Just the fact
team.
you can use that. They had a lawn chair last year, so even if
six road
even
games.
if Ukulele can't throw the ball, he's mobile. So like you can just do option read stuff.
We call it out when a team only has 4 road games. So when they have 6, we should also at least note it, right?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I mean, again, they should probably be okay at Arizona, at Colorado.
The Cal game actually scares me the most because it's the sandwich spot between them hosting Utah and UCLA.
Well, and Washington as with Oregon looking ahead to the Civil War.
Fantastic.
On a short week.
Oregon,
I mean, those are great games, but that's a tough spot, obviously, to finish. It's probably going to come down to those last 2 games.
Currently, the couple game Oregon State is a 8-point dog to Oregon.
Oh, give me the points
right now.
Give me the
Really?
points.
Yeah.
Give me the points.
These look ahead lines are great.
All right, shall we move? So I think I'm being a little bit of a fan here, but the tiebreaker is it's more fun to be a fan and it's more fun to bet plus 130. So I will take the over here. UCLA also 8.5 plus 120 to the over, minus 140 to the under, 15-1 to win the Pac-12, 36-1 to win to make the college football playoff, and 150-1 to win the national championship. This has to like their futures odds not truly matching up with where their win total is pretty interesting. In terms of like, is the UCLA crowd just not gamblers? Oregon State fans are all in on their squad.
It's weird. They have longer odds on the conference and college football playoff, but shorter odds when it comes to the Natty.
None of it makes sense. Yeah. If I had to guess, Oregon State fans are just very excited to bet on their team.
Now I think
win the conference.
I think if you're a UCLA fan, aka Scott Bowser, you're probably you're happy because when Michigan canceled that home and home, you now have an FCS in North Carolina Central.
So soft.
Last year they played an FCS for the first time ever. UCLA did because of Michigan canceling it. But then you add in the fact they don't play Oregon, they don't play Washington. They get
schedule came up pretty good. They brought in their DC is from the Ravens, so you think, all right, Chip Kelly, not a defensive whiz. You give him someone from the Ravens that should certainly help.
And you get not only do you get those 4 teams I mentioned that they're projected to struggle. You get them all in a row: Stanford, Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State. So you gotta like that. The question is, are they going to be starting a freshman quarterback? I think there's a lot of speculation that they are.
Yeah, it looks like Dante Moore is the leader in the clubhouse right now. I mean, you're losing DTR, who had 12,522 all-purpose yards.
It's auto fade for me on them this year.
Leading the I think all time quarterback in yards. So certainly that's a huge hole. And it felt like Chip Kelly and the program got some momentum these past couple years under DTR. They had obviously a couple letdown games last season to keep them out of the playoffs, but it did feel like overall this was a really good year.
I think the problem is if you're telling me you're starting a freshman quarterback, and the same goes for Oregon State with their redshirt freshman. But Oregon State's road schedule is a lot better. UCLA is going to have to play at San Diego State. They're going to be excited for that one. At Utah, chalk that up as a loss right now because last time a freshman quarterback won in Rice Eccles was probably like 1950. Then you got to go to Corvallis with a freshman quarterback, and then Arizona, who beat you last year, and then you get the USC game. So I don't know about the road schedule.
So let's run through it. Coastal. They opened with Coastal, but not on.
Well, and they did pick up the #1 college running back in the transfer portal, Carson Steele. So shout out to Carson.
True.
I mean that
guy's
could
a fucking beast.
Well, I do think we could see a slightly different version of the UCLA offense. Maybe a little bit more run heavy. Maybe a little bit more physicality. I mean, that's why you would bring in. No. That's why you would bring in a Carson Steele if you realize, like, hey, I don't have DTR. Maybe I don't have some of the quarterback running stuff that I got with him. Maybe a slight change of pace for Chip here.
I think I'm kind of with Colby in terms of just how the schedule shakes out. It's the best of the UCLA teams with Chip Kelly find a way to not get it done in some critical spots, and I think they have some tough spots. So Coastal, but on the beautiful grass at the Rose Bowl, not the disgusting teal turf. Then we a road game against San Diego State like that. This is one of those games that you shrug your shoulders and say, why why do major conference teams still do this to themselves when other teams just wouldn't do this at all? That's going to be a tough game. Yep. Again, new quarterback in a what is Chip Kelly's system? Complex.
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of
complex. Yeah. It's created complexities for quarterbacks in the past. So early at San Diego State, a team that will know what they're doing. Then you have the FCS game. Then at Utah, that's an insanely tough matchup right there. That. And then you take and then the early bye.
But at least you get Utah in September, where it's not super cold.
I don't care. Why is UCLA getting a bye week in September? How is that going to help them?
It might after that Utah game.
All right, then you got Washington. So going into the bye, what do you guys think? They can lose two of these. They
3-1.
I mean, I'll take 3. They'll be favored in 3 of them, but it would not shock. I mean, Coastal's a good team too, man. Don't just go over that. Coastal's lost like 3 games in 2 years. I feel like
opening day at home.
They're 16-point favorites against Coastal.
They're getting that.
There is not a line.
I'll take the points all day on that.
There is no line yet on the San Diego State game, and they are 8-point dogs at Utah right now. So
3-1.
We've seen the San Diego State matchup before for this UCLA team. Unfortunately, 2-2. Colby's with me too. I think.
I mean, they'll be favored in 3 of those. I do think they could, especially starting a freshman lose at.
What
San
do you think
Diego
the number
State.
is for San Diego State? You think they're laying a
6.5?
Yeah, I was gonna say 6, maybe.
Give me our gals. All right, so then coming out at the bye, Washington State at Oregon State, another tough road game at Stanford. That's not a tough one, but it's back to back. Then you have Colorado. This is an easy stretch right here at Arizona State.
Arizona did beat them a year ago. Let's highlight that.
Yeah, revenge spot.
Yeah.
Arizona
at
State.
USC, and then Cal, which is another rivalry game. Lots of rivalries
for the final time. There.
Final time.
Yeah. I'm on the under, man. I just think starting a freshman quarterback, there's too many hiccups despite them getting a favorable schedule.
I think the favorable schedule is what carries them to 9-3. It's close, but I'll take the again.
So, but Sean, there's three road losses in my. I know they've played well at the Coliseum before.
Coliseum, they could certainly win that game. Throw the record books out, Ryan. And I'm going to be slightly down on market compared to USC. I think the avalanche of hype and rocket high expectations for USC, I think is kind of
they certainly could trip and fall.
Working in the favor of UCLA. I mean, Cal, Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado. Let's say they lose at Oregon, at USC.
Oh, at Oregon State, you mean?
Oregon State. Yeah.
So Utah,
they have
Oregon
3,
State, USC.
To me, there's 3 like those are pen losses.
I think at Utah State and at Oregon State, I think are tough. You're right. The margin's slim, but I still got them going 9-3.
Another thing is it's where they play Colorado and Arizona State. We think Colorado and Arizona State just have all this turnover, but they play them on October 28th and November 11th. Like those teams are going to be figured out a little bit there. I like the under.
I mean, Arizona
over.
Yeah. My logic being,
Ryan, you're wearing your UCLA shirt. Come on.
Well, it's important to be objective for the Kramer gang, and I see 3 losses to start, and I think they could lose to San Diego. To me, it's very easy to get to 8-4. This feels like a team that we're maybe really optimistic about a quarterback in the second year of the system with Chip Kelly. You can't take a Chip Kelly quarterback first year. That would be my big concern. Now, if they come out and run the ball and play a ton of defense and shock me, sure, but I'll go under with Colby. All right, Utah 8.5, last of the 8.5s, plus 105 to the over, minus 125 to the under, 5-1 to win the conference. Massive jump here considering they share a win total with UCLA and Oregon State. Only 5-1 to win the conference, 9-1 to make the playoff, and 50-1 to win the national championship.
You could argue this is the hardest schedule in the nation.
So Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things with Utah. You the first thing you always want to do with Utah is who do they have at home?
And honestly,
they play 11 Power Fives.
What makes me feel slightly better about that UCLA spot in Utah is Cam Rising coming off that ACL. Like he might not be one. He might not even be starting week 1. 2. I mean, maybe they hold him until that first game back. And your first game back from an ACL injury.
Yeah, but
I mean, he blew out his ACL in the fucking Rose Bowl. Like that is a quick turnaround. I know ACL has gotten better over the years, but still, September 23rd at home against the Bruins.
It's their
laying
home,
8 points.
It's their homecoming.
They never lose in Salt Lake City.
It's their homecoming, and they're coming off of a game against Weber State.
Weber State's good though. FCS playoff team.
Just mark your Colby defends the FCS team bingo square.
Well, they're a playoff team. That means they're probably better than Virginia Tech.
Oh,
yes, they definitely are. All right.
Whoa.
Sorry, buddy.
It's just to me.
I felt like you got a little defensive there.
The big
FCS.
the big flag on the Utes is it's a tough start to the schedule.
Utes.
That is a ridiculous schedule. This is one of the hardest schedules
with the questions at quarterback because you know they're going to do everything. I've seen it with plenty of quarterbacks, a la Carson Wentz, where they don't start him that first game. He doesn't get any of the preseason work. He's not. Whatever sort of new plays.
He's gonna need to start in that first game. I mean, this is a revenge game. That they should have beat Florida in the swamp. They tossed away that game.
I'm telling you, I don't know, man.
All right, so Florida at Baylor. What?
That's tough, dude. Look at the non-con.
And then you got Weber State.
Who's a classic little brother situation. They're located a couple hours away. Yeah,
they could have a losing record going into the.
And then
bye.
you got UCLA, aka homecoming, and then at Oregon State, tough road spot there, and then the bye week.
Dude, they could lose 3 games before the bye.
They'll win their home games. I think 3-2.
I'm actually gonna say 4-1, but I think it's just.
But would you be shocked? I mean, Colby, I don't think it's that hot of a take to say because of the Cam Rising ACL. Also, the 6-year tight end, Brant Kuth, he's also coming off an ACL.
Yeah, he's
top
a beast
target.
too.
Top target for him.
They got guys though. They just got a receiver from Florida State in the portal.
Well coached.
I mean, that guy's a fucking you could make a case he's one of the best coaches in America.
I got into it with some Utah fans at the Rose Bowl, so I'm going to be out on Utah regardless.
Sure.
But
getting Andy Ludwig, this is their offensive coordinator, almost took the Notre Dame job, and then he said, I want to stay at Utah, and I think it's smart because he's got Cam Rising back. They've been in the same system for a while. I think they're probably going to go 4-1, but they could lose at Baylor.
3-2.
Yeah, the Baylor game's tricky because.
All right, so even I think 3-2, but 2-3 is not crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean this schedule is ridiculous.
3-2, and then look at the rest of the schedule.
Coming off the bye, they're home against the Cal Golden Bears.
Okay.
Then they have at USC, Oregon at home,
Jesus.
Arizona State at home, at Washington, at Arizona. Little back-to-back road Iggy there, and then Colorado. It closes out nicely.
No, but I want to highlight the fact that they get Arizona State and Colorado in November.
Yeah,
it's going to basically be like year 2 teams now because they'll have that figured out. Those teams have talent, man,
and you could see we coming, aka Dion. Another high elevation team where nothing to lose, realizing, hey, maybe we did have a little bit of a down stretch in the middle of the season. Go out on their shield and upset,
dude. Fuck you.
It is Rice Eccles, which they never. This is it's a great home field advantage. So I don't know that Arizona State and Colorado win, but they're certainly going to get the best of Arizona State and Colorado because they're going to be a lot better in November.
There's so many ways this team could get to 4 losses. So many.
Oh yeah,
I could come up with a million scenarios. I mean, not a million, but you know what I mean. Like,
let's hear them.
I mean, starting out 0-2 isn't right. Completely unthinkable.
So I would say 3-2
Love
in the first stretch. Like, if I just go super basic and say, well, I think they're going to be favored over Oregon at home, probably. So let's just say they win their road games or their home games.
Yeah,
that's 3 more after 4 more after the bye. So I'm already at 7. I need 2 wins out of at Arizona, at Washington, at USC, at Oregon State. I don't see it.
I don't see it either, dude.
I don't see the 2 wins.
I think they're right on that number, but I got them losing to Oregon State. I got them losing at USC, but. And
they would need to beat Baylor and then either beat Oregon State or Washington or USC. And that.
But you know what though, man?
Oh, I guess Arizona.
Let me trust Whittingham. Give me the over.
When's the last time they didn't win 9 games?
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while.
Isn't that I guess the competition's up, but look, we just walked.
It is a
through
hard
the
schedule though.
Yeah,
They didn't draw Stanford.
The Florida Baylor start makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's brutal.
No sense.
No
and
other
to your
conferences do that.
Weber State is
Colorado
a
and
well
Utah.
put together FCS team. Oh, we're all in the under. We stand with you, Sean, in your fight
No,
against.
I think he gets it done somehow. Right?
What are you doing?
8.5, 4 losses. I
You
got
just
the
said
losses.
we couldn't find the 2 wins.
Oregon
No,
State.
We just said we couldn't find them.
USC,
We went
Washington. All right,
I said
now
one if by land, 2 if by sea.
Play my music. Give me the under.
Yeah. Well, no, you've Benedict the Benedict. All right. So we stand with Sean in his fight against the Zealots of Utah.
So no, Colby doesn't.
No,
Colby's
no.
on the over.
No, just Benedict to the under.
What?
No,
he did a double
We
Benedict.
talked
Yeah.
under. He then picked
Can't double stay
over.
with double stable Lloyd.
And then he said, and then he came back to the under.
I was looking up the the Kyle Whittingham stats.
When's the last time he didn't win 9?
Well, 2020 he went 3-2.
that doesn't count.
4 games.
That doesn't count.
2017 he went 7-6.
Okay.
But there's some
It's a
season.
while ago though, man.
But when's the last time the Pac-12's had this many pretty good teams?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, next up, the Huskies.
Well, that's a 12-game schedule too. Well, a lot of these probably include.
The 9-game conference schedule suddenly
Yeah.
is not a great idea when half your conference is a good fucking team, and it
Yeah.
looks like a hard like.
And you wonder why you missed the playoffs because
Because
everyone's going to play
you're
each
playing
other.
4 coin flip
Yeah.
games against other top 25 teams. All right, so you got Washington, the Huskies. We got to sailgate one of these. I really should tap into the family connections because I'm pretty sure I could get us a situation with some sailgating. We got to look into this in the future. We love Huskies. Big pro dog show here on the program. Shout out DMX. 9.5 plus 120 to the over, minus 140 to the under, 380 to win the conference, 7-1 to make the playoff, 35-1 to win the Natty. They probably are one of the programs in the Pac-12, and maybe Colby can correct me if I'm wrong here, but they're one of the Pac-12 programs that seems like they truly like the combination of like historical pedigree and money and want. This like Washington could be back in the near future.
Oh, DeBauer.
They might be
is the
back
right
now.
coach for it.
Well, and
Yeah.
especially
the problem is they
Michael
went real
Penix, high profile.
They went really wrong with the coach. That was a little of the problem.
What are you talking about? DeBauer?
No, the last guy.
Oh, Jimmy Lake. Yeah,
that was like that was like too many degrees removed from the source and Peterson. So
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it's a program that made the playoffs not that long ago, and then
how many national championships they won?
they won one in '91 with Mark Bruner and Mark Brunell.
More recently than a lot of schools.
2001, they had the same record, and they basically or
Well,
2000.
That's back when you didn't actually play. And you just hung a banner and said we are the national champions.
You get like a publication. It's like the Waterloo, Iowa Register is sitting there saying,
yeah.
no, I think I was national champion.
Yeah, you just need one person to do it. We can be that person.
Well,
for your school.
don't make fun of that idea because we
What do you mean?
crown the we crown the
San Diego
March
State
Madness
Aztecs.
champions.
I absolutely think we should just start. We should start crowning schools national champions.
Oh, I've already been doing it. Have you been listening to the team previews?
Oh, let's get it. Let's get the PR machine behind it.
Let's
Make
go.
sure we're getting it
Cranking
out
it up.
there. Yeah. So look, I think I'm interested to see what Colby has to say about Washington this year because
First off, the hire was fantastic.
we've heard you talk about him.
And obviously, I think that you have a lot of reason to be excited if you're a Washington fan because the receiving core might be among the best of the nation. Maybe Ohio State would be the only one that you could say.
Definitely.
I mean, look, it's going to be tricky because the Pac-12 is crazy, but that you got to like the fact that
Michael Penix 15-1 to win the Heisman. I mean, second in the nation in passing last year. Obviously, defense is where things get a little wonky there. 100th in the nation last year.
Yeah.
What have they done to improve defense?
Well, you know what? The year before they were actually really good at defense. So it's just the fact that there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the Pac-12, but the secondary is the question mark. I think coming into this year, I think the defensive line is actually pretty good. And
Braylon Trice, 67 pressures, 9 sacks. Offensive line, they are returning their 2 tackles, but interior line, little bit of a question.
Yeah,
there.
and I think they want to run more this year between the tackles. They brought in Dylan Johnson, the running back from Mississippi State. So it's
9.5. Man,
you look at the road schedule here.
Did you? How deep did you go into hit the coach to?
Oh, I know all about him. Man. Back at Sioux Falls.
I was gonna say I'm looking into this. He's like
fucking
perennial
incredible,
national champion at the NAIA level. Has a bunch of GPAC conference wins and national championships, and then I guess, I mean, I don't know. I like I said, they have the means. They're kind of like Auburn. If Auburn had dignified people and money and teeth and knew how to read, and was in Seattle, and they were on a boat before the game.
Yeah, but
a lot of differences,
dude.
there,
I mean, I think the one flaw you would say is the 4 final games of the season.
November is a tough month, especially when you only can lose 2 games if you're trying to hit the over.
Is that 12 minus? Okay, 10 and 2.
The math checks.
That's how we get there.
Well,
so, all right,
they'll be favored. I think in every game.
Yeah, let's talk
games.
schedule because I think to your point, we'll see if they're going to be glaring. It's like it's not about them being favored and every. It's like there's so many of these coin flip games that are going to be right between the threes. Boise, they open against Boise State, then Tulsa. That we get a little golden hurricane in the Pacific Northwest. You don't usually see those types of weather patterns up there, Colby. Then at Michigan State, it's still a big
Midnight
Power 5.
Mel?
It's a road Power 5.
Well, it's a revenge spot because they fucked up Michigan State a year ago.
And it's a road Power 5. So no matter how you slice it, then you get the Cal Golden Bears at home and at Arizona. Obviously, the home games are very, very winnable here. And
all of them are winnable here.
I would say I don't see them losing to Arizona. So it comes down to like how
could they be shocked by Michigan State, or what do you think that spread's going to be?
Michigan State's got that rich dude who owns the Suns, just throwing money left and right.
Yeah, but I mean they lost like right after the spring game.
They lost players.
Their starting quarterback for the past 2 years, Peyton Thorne,
is that bad?
Got bought by Auburn, and then their wide receiver.
I don't think you can say that.
Their wide receiver from
these are human beings, Colby.
They have like a NFL wideout that got bought, Keon Coleman, by Florida State. So
it's such a funny way to put it. All right, so going to the bye. So you're saying undefeated? Probably.
That Cal game is tricky after coming cross country. I think.
What's cross country? Michigan?
Yeah.
At least 4-1, maybe 5-0.
Give me 5-0. Fuck it.
I think the Michigan State game turns into a statement game that no one's able to see because it's on Peacock. Coming off the bye, we got the Oregon Ducks on October 14th. Then the Arizona State Sun Devils
who upset them a year ago.
So revenge will be on the mind at Stanford. At USC, a little back-to-back road spot in 2 places that I can't imagine scared too many people's. Utah, and then at Oregon State, following up with a Washington State.
That's a brutal
Apple
end of the
Cup
season. The final 4 games.
I would say it's not the most crushing road schedule. I think they can beat Stanford on the road. Hopefully they don't get caught up with a look ahead. I'll mark an L for Oregon State. I think the Utah game obviously will be big time. I mean, if you look at the spreads that are available, 15 points against Boise State to open the season, but then Washington. What do you think the Washington Michigan State's spread's gonna be, Colby?
I would say Washington -6.
It's 12.
Wow.
Washington's laying 1.5 against Oregon for reference point, and Washington is catching 6 against USC. So kind of helps you see where everything lands. To me, when you look at the back half of the schedule, if they are, I think this is one of those teams I would probably. We were discussing this with the NFL, but it almost feels like we could do some alt win total action here, where
high variance for Washington.
It feels like they're either 11-1 is definitely reasonable.
Yeah, but
also is 8-4.
That's kind of where
like
I'm
if I
at.
had to choose right now, it's 8-4.
So where are the 4 losses?
Or 9-3.
Give me the 4
I'll
losses.
go 9-3.
I could give you them. I could
give me the
them.
losses.
The losses
because they only have 5 road games.
Well, I expect them to lose at USC and at Oregon State. So,
okay,
but then you have Utah sandwiched in there, so Utah is capable of beating them.
You know what? So They only need. You're right, because Sean did give us the math to start it, and I used the same logic for Utah, which was I can find the 2 losses. But I guess my counter would be if they are good and they are that team, I could see them beating. Like Sean was right to say that maybe USC could trip, and maybe that's where one of the places they're tripping.
Yeah, give me. It's at 8.5, right?
I just like
it's at 9.5, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. 8.5. You could talk me into the 9-3 feels like the perfect record for Washington. I don't love laying the -140, but yeah, this is not going in the lock pile because
I'll take a flyer on the over here.
I think I'm with you.
10-2.
Colby. I think I'm with you. Because I just like doing the spring leagues has really given me appreciation for coaches that know how to coach. So I'd like to be on the side of good coaches.
So what they avoid UCLA.
Yeah.
They avoid Colorado.
That's not you probably want.
I think
Colorado.
that Oregon game's tricky for them.
What is the third team they're missing?
They catch the entire. So they play USC, Oregon, Utah, UCLA.
And
Oregon State
teams.
It is a tough.
And the problem is it's November. Because I have a feeling that could be undefeated, but the wheels could easily fall off. You see that all the time with teams where you lose one game. Like if they lose to USC, it's like, oh, and then Utah gets to come in there.
Yeah, like imagine to Colby's point, they're a 1-loss team going into Saturday, November 4th at USC. They lose another one.
I hate
and then you have essentially,
then you realize like, hey, our season's done.
No, I like it. I this offense. I mean the continuity, the fact that he worked with Penix in Indiana all those years ago. Pre-pandemic, like it feels like this could be one of those special seasons. So I'll
jump on it with you. 10-2.
I once gave out Washington as a dark horse to make the college football playoff
with Phil Steele, right?
Dare I do it again? Oregon also 9.5 here, +100 to the over, -120 to the under. 290 is the Pac-12 price. 6-1 to make the playoff, 30-1 to win the Natty. Oregon, you just get fatigued with them being a good team every year. They're another one where I think a lot gets kind of shed out in the schedule. They have some interesting scheduling choices, I would say. And again, you're kind of looking to see like how many teams from the top did they avoid?
Well,
only
first
UCLA.
Off, I think, and then they add Texas Tech is actually
Texas
like
Tech?
really a
That's
team
a
emerging.
fucked up road trip.
Yeah, I think they could lose that. I actually think I'd probably take Texas Tech if I had to pick that right now.
Those are not major airports. They're
I really like this Oregon team.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you can
the team.
I
think it's another good year for the offense. I like the continuity that they have on defense, and I think, up here at the top, I think they could be a team that like makes a nice jump here with Lanning having a defensive mind. They could make the difference. So I'm on board with Oregon.
I think the road schedule is pretty brutal. Going to Lubbock, going to Seattle, going to Salt Lake City, and then by the time they play Arizona State, that's November 18th. I mean, this thing, you'll have your turducken in your fridge, Sean.
Probably not.
But they play Oregon. They play Oregon State at home. They play USC at home.
Yeah, but those are like 50-50 games.
They play Washington at home.
No, they don't.
Or, sorry, Washington State.
Yeah. No, I'm on the under. I think
I like this Oregon team. I think they can win the conference.
Colby, what did they lose?
Their offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham went to Arizona State.
And do you think Bo Nix another new offense to learn, or they'll
probably be fine. They're still talented, but
they're returning a bunch of starters.
Because if you throw out that Georgia game, they lost by 3 to Washington and by 4 to Oregon State on the road.
And those are both games they probably should win. Like minus
they beat Utah by 3 in Eugene.
A lot of close games.
They're not going to win that one in Salt Lake City. You know what I mean?
A lot of close games. The 3-point win at Pullman.
Yeah, and they should have lost that game.
This is the Ducks' year. Remember that clip we had of us all going quack, quack, quack,
and then they
talking
lost
ourselves.
by like 100.
They lost 49-3.
No, I'm on the under.
I think we were a year too early on the Oregon thing, and I think this is the year.
Bo Nix,
was good. I know it's fun
every
to
other
talk
quarterback in the Pac-12 is good.
But but that's why I like Oregon, because I think they're going to take a nice little jump here, second year in the Lanning scheme.
That's actually a great point, Colby. If
I'm
I'm comparing him to the other quarterbacks that we are discussing on these teams, so Caleb Williams, you have Bo Nix, you have Michael Penix, you have Cam Rising, you have unnamed young person, and you have
Cam Ward, Jaden DeLora.
You have incredible young. Who's the Oregon State young kid or DJU? I don't know if Bo Nix is in the top 2 or 3. So
certainly not the top 2. Because
Caleb Williams and Michael Penix are clear top 2 for me.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then then it gets a little interesting. But
Oregon, they still have the home. Well, we should just walk through the schedule because I think they have laid out their schedule in a way where it's both like, oh yeah, love the start, but why are we going to Lubbock week 2? They start with Portland State, the Vikings,
love it,
win,
obvious win on the Pac-12 network, so maybe not a win if you're trying to watch it. At Texas Tech, the Raiders. This
win,
is
cash it.
This is not a. This is a very difficult trip.
Texas Tech's quarterback is Tyler Shuck. We
remember him from
DGen the college football, but they brought in Bo Nix to replace him, so it's personal. I like Texas Tech to get this done in Lubbock.
Texas Tech also should have a really good defense.
Great first year, man. Joey McGuire comes in, had their best season since Mike Leach.
This is a tough spot for Oregon. Why did they make this game?
Yeah, I'm going Red Raiders there, but then they got the good news is you got Hawaii, and at least you get Colorado and Stanford, both new coaches in September.
Yeah, no, this is
5-0.
I think 4-1.
4-1.
5-0.
I think we're
5-0.
Are you not aware of how the Pac-12 works?
Yeah,
they don't do well. They lose games, so it hurts their playoff chances. Coming out of the bye, you got at Washington,
loss.
Washington State at home,
win
at Utah. Jesus Christ. That's a sandwich spot at Washington State too that they could be in. That's a dangerous spot. Remember, like you said, close win in Pullman last year.
Wazoo should have won that game.
Cal Bears after that, then USC at Arizona State, Oregon State.
Too much.
So they definitely catch some games at home that are
11-1.
11-1. Are they? So they're winning at Utah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Gonna lose at Arizona State. No, I don't know. I don't know where the loss.
He doesn't know ball, Colby. He doesn't know ball.
I don't know where the loss comes.
Starting to worry about him, huh?
But I'm high on this Oregon team.
He's already in Costa Rica.
Oregon over 9.5. Love it. And give me the +100.
I found 3 is 9-3 good enough for the over?
Dude, I think they could go.
They're going to lose. I
wouldn't be surprised they went 7-5.
They're going to lose in Utah. They're going to lose in Lubbock, and they're going to lose in Seattle. Easy money under. That was one of the easiest ones we've done. Quack, motherfucker.
You want me to bring up the 2022 college?
Bring it up, bitch.
All right.
You like to tout? Me and Colby are looking at locks. Me and Colby are looking at the windshield. You're cruising around looking in the rear view. USC 9.5 -190 to the over. Did I write that down right? Under +150. Conference odds are 2-1. Playoff 230. National championship 14-1. Look, Caleb Williams we were discussing this in the office before the episode. I can't remember a guy coming with and obviously the internet is affecting this and changing this, but I can't remember someone coming in with so much college hype and NFL hype at the same time. You tanking for guys like, I guess Tua had some of that hype now that I'm thinking back.
Tank for Tua.
Trevor, Andrew
Imagine
Luck.
tanking for a guy who can't throw a football, really.
But it's not often you have this level of hype surrounding a prospect. Now, how did Andrew Luck finish his career? Beat the shit out of Virginia Tech, I believe. We were unfortunate. Beautiful craps run. I actually was late to catching the kickoff at the Win, Sean. I was out in Vegas because I was playing craps. I went on a huge bender, won a bunch of money, and then watched Tyrod get his ass beat by Andrew Luck in the Orange Bowl, maybe Festival. I forget. I would say it's just this level of hype seems like it has to come crashing down at some point. The not being in the what was a soft Big 12 with Lincoln Riley and his offensive gimmicks, and the Heisman
they get a
factory.
nice schedule though, man. The first 6 games are. They catch Arizona State and Colorado, brand new coaches in the first month. You gotta love the schedule. Then playing the week 0 game, gives them 2 buys essentially, or what not.
I'd say they have an extended preseason. Like the way their schedule sets up,
Nevada's awful. Stanford's look, they get 3 coaches in September that are brand new coaches. Stanford, Arizona State, and Colorado. Pac-12 doing some favors to USC before they leave.
Feels like their season starts Sunday, October 14th at Notre Dame.
Yes, and this is a gauntlet back end. I don't know if you prefer to have all your good games on the back end or just spread them out.
I think that matters because guys get banged up. The grind becomes a little bit more like that NFL grind where every game's tough. You're not getting rest. I certainly don't think this is an easy schedule. I think the fact that they're going to Notre Dame, they have the trip to Oregon, obviously. Even the Arizona State Colorado thing, there's a back-to-back situation
Ryan,
going on.
We talk about this all the time in the NFL. USC really benefited from a pretty crazy turnover margin last year, plus 22. So again, if they don't get that fumble luck, the ball doesn't bounce their way as much as it did. Also 8th worst in yards allowed per play. So again, the turnovers bail you out of having a shitty defense. There were 6.5 yards per play defensively. Like having a plus 22, you're able to hide your flawed defense.
Yes, and because you have Caleb Williams.
I still think
and they also,
the road schedule's nice.
I think they have a target on their back. It's weird. I'm kind of out on USC, but then man, like looking at the schedule, I'm like, God, it does feel like they could get to 10-2.
So last year,
even though I'm not high on them overall, like at least where they're hyped.
So last year they basically lost to Utah twice, and
they should have lost to Oregon State.
They also, they played. If you remember that Notre Dame game they played, certainly like Notre Dame's going to feel like they can do something this year.
I just don't think Notre Dame's that good though.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah,
they weren't that good last year either, though.
It's like at Notre Dame, so maybe, but I just feel like USC's on a different level.
They didn't have Oregon on the schedule last year.
But they had Oregon State, which is not on the schedule this year.
That's fine.
Yeah,
but I think the trips.
But look, I mean, I think they could lose those last 2 games at Oregon and UCLA at home. I'm higher.
The way
on those teams,
the schedule makes it so they have Utah, Washington, Oregon, UCLA 4 out of 5 weeks with a Cal game. Actually,
I think Cal is going to be the one that gets them.
Throw in Notre Dame. Actually, the last 6 weeks of the schedule, because of course they have a bye week.
Yeah, did we walk through the whole thing?
Yeah, so I'll read it off again. But no, we didn't. Let's just go through it. So they start with San Jose State. San Jose State in the Pac-12 now?
They should.
They might be.
They got money. Come on.
They're honorary, like New Mexico State is in the SEC.
So San Jose.
Well, at least this one geographically makes sense.
San Jose State, Nevada. Well, you go up there to get the tech money. That's what they're doing up there. Nevada, which
terrible team right now.
I was going to say not the same Nevada team we've seen in the past. And then you have Stanford, the Cardinal, who could be one of the worst teams.
Well, and they get them every year because of the historical rivalry. But this is why the Pac-12 should have said "fuck you" to this game, because they're the ones quitting. You should have been like, "Hey, you can't get this layup every time."
Here's the red flag. We got a bye week. Except this is the earliest one we've seen. Week 3.
Yeah.
Why do you need a bye week 3? So
I've heard though it's because of the Notre Dame game. They would give them the bye week October 14th, ridiculous. And because of the Notre Dame game, which I guess they don't want to play Notre Dame in November in South Bend because it's too cold. Pussies. So they say they want it in October.
All right, so then coming out of they're 3-0 coming out of the bye.
Again, that's part of the thing that's annoying about college football. I know you love the pageantry, the marching, the flags, but Colby, the fact that you get to like decide and negotiate your schedule. What's great about the National Football League is they go, "Hey, here's your schedule. Fucking deal with it."
Agreed. But that's the beauty of going to a large playoff.
That's true.
Is that you're going to schedule more aggressively. You're not going to care if there's one loss.
So coming off the bye, you have a back-to-back. It still is a back-to-back road spot at Arizona State, at Colorado. I know Colby's been chirping about you want to see these teams early, not late. So probably a benefit to get them in September.
They're coming.
Of course, it's a benefit. They would have to go to Colorado. It's not going to be cold.
Then you have
30th.
Arizona at home, with another very winnable game. So you're 6-0. Let's just say you're 6-0 here, right?
No, they will be. Yeah.
Now your final 6 games, you have at Notre Dame, Utah at home, at Cal, Washington at home, at Oregon, UCLA at home. That is a brutal stretch. there are definitely 2 losses in there.
Yes,
I've watched.
What's the win total? 9.5, right?
9.5. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are definitely 2.
Yeah.
Can we get ourselves to a 3rd loss there? Because again,
Sure you can, but they do have the best player in the country.
Utah has their fucking number.
Yeah, but Utah on the road, I know they beat them, but that's a little trickier now.
They beat them in a neutral site last year, and they beat them in Utah last year.
True.
So they beat them twice. It kind of feels like
I think they won their last time in LA, but that was Clay Helton era.
I think the sandwich spots they have where Utah sits between Notre Dame and Cal, and then you have Washington sitting between a road spot and Cal and Oregon. This is a brutal stretch. They're going to have to stay like Lincoln Riley never had to get his teams to stay this focused in the Big 12.
I'm taking 10-2. Give me the.
I'm
over.
taking under because you get the plus 150. I do think 10-2 is pretty reasonable, but
and I just don't have UCLA on that level yet.
To do what?
I look at it and I see a potential loss at Oregon. And,
they lose
and one other loss between Utah, Cal, and Washington.
They lose to Utah, Washington, and Oregon. Those are my 3 losses. Under.
So they lose back-to-back home games.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then they fuck up UCLA.
Give me the over on the Trojans, 10-2.
And then Caleb Williams opts out to go to the NFL because college doesn't matter. Sean?
Yeah, just looking at the totals here, over and unders. Kramer had 2 overs here.
I'm a
second
sharp.
half.
I'm a sharp. I have
3 and 3. Colby has 3 and 3.
I have 3 total overs in the entire conference.
I mean, to your point, it is high. They do have a relatively high per win. So if you missed part 1, Kramer's locks are Stanford under 3.5, Cal over 5.5. I'm on the over Colorado 3.5, Cal over 5.5. Colby locked up Colorado over 3.5, Stanford under 3.5 wins. Let's polish off some locks here. 2 more. What do you got, Kramer?
All right. So they seem to be. It's starting to become a bit of a thing. Perhaps we'll have to call them our Beavers, but Oregon State, over. I mean, this is a team that brings a chainsaw out onto the field. We didn't even mention that in the preview. They literally have a fucking chainsaw on the sideline. Think about how uneasy that's got to make some of these pussy ass coaches from the Pac-12. And then my second lock, considering all the unders I have, I think it would be fitting for me to throw another over out there. Give me the Washington over. I think it's a special year. I do think Michael Penix is going to bring me some money in the form of a Heisman Trophy winner. I like that. I certainly like taking a look at him at the what's he like 14, 18-1, something like that. So I've only taken 3 overs in the entire conference, but I've locked them all up. So
wow.
You have a future, Kramer.
Love you, Pac-12. Yeah, I think based on the conversation we just had, Washington to win the conference is a decent price, which then begs the question: can the Pac-12 winner miss out on the playoff?
Depends how the rest of the country goes.
Well, 380 is the conference price. 7-1 is the playoff.
But if they have 2 losses and everyone else has 1, like Clemson plays in the ACC, they probably will only have 1 loss.
Florida State's there.
Yeah, I mean the fact that there's
like
such a
8 years.
difference in odds, I would go college football playoff price versus, especially with Washington, it's almost double.
Yeah, the parlay is basically: do you think is there a plus 160 chance that they miss the playoff while winning the conference?
Yeah, I think that's the problem with the Pac-12 and the Big 12 is the carnage. Whereas
I'm with
ACC
Colby.
team can win one, lose
Washington
one game.
wins the conference plus 380. That's my future. Although Oregon State's a fun sleeper at 11-1.
Ooh. Oh yeah. All right, so
Welcome to the party, Sean.
Yeah, I do like Oregon State over 8.5, and then I do like Oregon. I think they're interested in the future market.
I am wondering if it's even possible.
You know what? I'm going to go Utah under 8.5. The Cam Rising ACL thing, I think you got, you guys did. You did end up. Colby was going back and forth. I got dizzy there for a second, but Utah under 8.5, and then I do think there's a chance Oregon really makes a run for it. So I'll go Oregon college football playoff at 6-1. for my future.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna lock up Oregon State over 8.5, and I'm gonna lock up USC over 9.5.
Ooh.
Oh God, Cole.
That is a disgusting act.
You got your Lakers jersey over there?
And future, let's have some fun on Oregon State winning the Pac-12.
Why not?
Conference? Yeah.
Why
Yep.
not?
I think that was your pick last year.
They should have if they didn't have that lawn chair.
If they had a quarterback,
Yeah.
he laid out the case.
Yeah.
He said if they had a quarterback, they would have won the conference. I think I'm going to invest in that real time on the show.
Let's go.
Hey, college football previews continue. As always, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, rate, review, turn on. Become part of the auto download army. Football is coming.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Just put a first half bet on the Washington Huskies to win the Pac-12.
Kramer. Let it ride.